those of you looking at this mental health crisis going on in the United States right now, and you're saying, make it make sense, well, I'm going to try through the lens of body astrology, especially looking at the United States natal chart. So this is especially going to be relevant for Americans. And I hope this does make some sense out of what's going on and give you some light at the end of the tunnel. Some of you are thinking, why now? Why is this happening now? And that's a great question. It has a lot to do with the astrology and with this full moon in Taurus, opposite of the sun in Scorpio. It's really bringing up a lot of security issues and highlighting a lot of insecurity within people. And then when you look at what's going on with the United States natal chart, it's bringing up second and eighth house issues, which is very much like Taurus Scorpio energy as well. So it's like a double portion. We've also got 4th and 10th houses getting triggered in the United States natal chart, which is highlighting emotional versus material security issues. And then we have 6th and 12th houses getting triggered in the United States natal chart as well, highlighting matters of healing, the physical and the spiritual realm. When we're looking at this lunation, there's a lot of feminine energy that is being highlighted. If you can think of it like, for women, generally speaking, probably what is most important to us in our values is security. It's a serious issue for women. Men have a very different value system, which I will probably talk more about when we get into Saturn moving into Aries next year. But suffice it to say, the energies impacting all these feminine energies in the chart this way, and then you bring in that it's impacting security issues, are especially triggering for women. Right now with the sun in Scorpio in the United States natal chart, 12th house, I really believe this is highlighting an issue of these people who there seems to be a light on, but nobody's home. Why? Is it from the psychiatric meds or something else? Who knows? But with this lunation happening in the opposite 6th house, we're getting a lot of hysterics. In the sign of Taurus, this is like people feeling like they have no voice or they're not being heard. And whatever's coming out of them emotionally may be from this feeling of, I'm being repressed or suppressed, I'm not being heard, I'm not being listened to. We could be looking at hormonal dysregulation. And I'm not just talking about, hysterics. I'm talking about people's adrenals are tapped out because they're under so much stress. And some people may not really, particularly women, may not recognize this because we've normalized women carrying stress loads that, frankly, unpopular opinion, many of us were not built for. We were not designed to be out every day competing against men in a man's world. And I'm not saying we can't do it. It's just highly stressful to the body. And again, if you've normalized this, maybe you are misunderstanding why things are out of whack. And that takes me back to 12th house, where you could get things that are misdiagnosed or misunderstood with health matters. Now, the next question some of you are probably asking is, well, okay, but why is this coming across so potent, so voracious, so intense? Like life or death type of energy that these people are voicing. And yes, in some situations, it is coming to life or death, or at least some kind of dramatic endings in relationships. And I really believe this has to do with how we are ingressing towards Pluto in Aquarius. Huge, huge transit I will talk about as we get closer to the 19th, but suffice it to say, this is a major wake-up call for a lot of people. This is ushering in the Great Awakening. Oh, but here's the problem. It's opposing Mars in Leo. So another loudmouth, right? Leo. And drama. Both of these energies are very dramatic, and they're opposing each other, putting it in a kind of a tug of war, duking it out, fighting it out. Pluto is going to win at the end of the day. What Pluto's going to win at is waking people up, whether they want to be awake or not. And unfortunately, this opposing energy in Leo could bring up some kind of childish behavior of, I don't want to. Aquarius is opposing that I don't want to energy, which, is very unpredictable. It could pull something out of left field, like, oh, really? You don't want to? How about this? Bam! And I think, again, you can run, but you can't hide. There's going to be a lot of truths coming out over the next 20 years. And I think most immediately we are seeing truths coming out about the COVID era. And particularly with this energy, we are looking at things having to do with blood, DNA, and things that have impacted immunity, vitality, life force, and regeneration, the ability to regenerate. You could see a lot of information coming out having to do with what has happened to people's DNA, specifically mRNA technologies, looking at blood disorders, blood clots, things of that nature. There could be more information coming out about that definitely over the next 20 years, but I can see it in the very immediate future. And yes, also having to do with the death rate as well. So when we're talking about scorpionic, plutonic type of energy, we are looking at that area of the body that allows us to reproduce. So when we're talking about hysterectomies, abortions, things like that, infertility issues, that could also be coming up. With the sun in Scorpio during this time, it's really highlighting these kind of hidden, suppressed matters of being misled or misdiagnosed or misinformed. 12th house also dredges up psychological, psychiatric issues. Most relevant here, I think, is schizophrenia, or at least having schizoid, scattered, disorganized thinking and communication, where some people may falsely imagine that they're being threatened when actually they're not. This energy signifies people's inability to rightly discern what is real and what is not. Anytime we're talking about 12th house, 8th house, very spiritual houses, when we bring up Pluto, Scorpio, any of that energy is signifying perhaps a need for shadow work. I can even tell you in my line of work, that's probably my least popular reading that I offer, because most people just want to know when they're going to get lucky, hit the jackpot, hit the lottery, Don Juan's going to come riding in. They just want to know where's their candy. And this is where we're at with humanity. It's childish. I told you that.